In this video, I'm going to be making baked split bone-in chicken breasts with mashed potatoes, sawmill gravy, and steamed vegetable. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and click that notification bell to be notified when there's new videos. Comments welcome. Thank you. Here's a quick list of ingredients, or you can check out the description below. Alright, first thing, got my chicken breasts here, and I've just got a large family pack, 4 breasts in it, and these are massive chicken breasts. This package is like 5.5 pounds, so even if we're counting for the bone and the water they inject, there's still, each one is over a pound apiece, so over a pound of meat in there. And I'm just going to brine these. I'm going to just, trim them up, and then I'm going to salt them and brine them, and do this a few hours or, a day in advance. I like to get that salt into the chicken there. And with these big, thick breasts like this, you're going to put quite a bit of salt on there. So I'm just sprinkling on the kosher salt. I mean, you can't overdo it, but it's got a long way to go. So, the longer they can sit, the better. And I'm only going to have, 5 or 6 hours, but that'll do pretty good. And it's also got to go through the skin on this side. So these are bone-in, skin-on split chicken breasts. Okay, so the chicken breasts have been brining for several hours now. So I'm going to unwrap them. They're pretty dry, so most of the salt is absorbed, so just dry them off a little bit. But alright, I'm going to put them in this bowl, and then I'm going to season them up. I add, first off, some cooking oil. And this is canola oil. Get those coated well. And then for the spice today, I got this beer can chicken spice blend. So start out with 4 tablespoons, but you can use whatever kind of spices you like. You could also do I made a paprika baked chicken with chicken thighs, another video, so you could look that up and get that spice one. That's a good one too. So just make sure they're well coated. A little bit more. Okay, good. I'll just prep my pan and put some foil in it, and then I also put the rack in it again. Now this time, unlike with the thighs, I can just overcook in the oven, or not overcook, but cook longer in the oven and crisp up the skin. But with the breasts, I don't want to do that. Because if you cook breasts too long, then they get dry, of course. So I'll just get the oil heating up here. So I'll be frying those chicken breasts and crisping up the skin and then putting them into the oven. So I'm going to preheat the oven here to 400 degrees. So while the oil is getting hot, I'm going to measure out my potatoes. And today I'm just going to make a 1.5 pound russet potatoes. That I'm going to cook in the Instant Pot and then mash up for mashed potatoes. So the oil is nice and hot. You can see it smoking a little bit there. So I'm going to put the chicken breasts in. I'm going to put them in skin side down. So I want to start right off crisping up that skin. The other thing I want to do is I want to render the fat out that's under the skin, and then we'll be able to use that in our gravy. Now we're not trying to cook the chicken through, just crisp it up. So all we want to do is get whatever color and how crispy we want the skin. Then we take it out here and we'll put it in the oven to finish off cooking. Okay, as I take the chicken out there, you can see all this charred or roasted spices there in the bottom of the pan. That's going to help flavor our gravy. It's going to be some good flavor. Of course, it's also flavoring the chicken. You can see that's still on there, the spices that are still stuck to it. So we got it in our 400-degree oven. And we're just going to bake that for 45 minutes. Okay, so time to get back to our potatoes. Just clean them up good and cut out any bad spots. And I like to do mashed potatoes usually with the skins on. Again, like I said, these are Russets, which I think make the best mashed potatoes. And just cut those up into nice chunks. Just keep in mind how big a skins it's going to make, so that's what size I cut them to, so it's nice bite-sized chunks there. Cup of water in there, cup or so, and then into this spot, seal it up, make sure that vent is set to seal. And then I'm going to do this, the pressure cook, the manual pressure cook, for 12 minutes. Now I'm going to prep our vegetables for our steamed vegetables. This is a mix of broccoli, cauliflower, and carrots. I like to call it a California blend. And I'll cook that for about half the time that it calls for, and then I'll put in the butter and spices. Alright, now time to start working on the gravy. Still got some of the spices in the bottom there. Put in some butter, melt it down, and then go in with a 1/4 cup of flour. And that was 2 tablespoons of butter, because you want about a 1/4 cup of oil and butter together. So, and a 1/4 cup of flour. Make our roux there. Cook for a little bit, and then we'll put the milk in. Now it's got 3 cups of whole milk. And then we'll just mix that up good, and then bring it up to a low boil, and then it'll start to thicken. Okay. While it's still heating up, I'm going to put in some bullion, a teaspoon of bullion. I'm using the better than bullion. The dried stuff works good, and that's chicken. Bullion to go with our chicken, of course. And then a 1/2 teaspoon of garlic powder and a 1/2 teaspoon of onion powder, or vice versa. There we go. Mix that all up. All right. You can see it's bubbling now and thickening up. You can just tell it's a little thicker now. Alright, I think it's getting a little hot, bubbling a little too much, so I'm going to pull it off the burner a little bit. You can see I'm using a whisk here too to make sure I get rid of any lumps. Of course, the roasted spices are going to make some lumps, but we don't want gravy lumps. It's thickened up a bit more than I like, so I'm going to add some more milk in. And you might have to do this because it will get a little thicker as it sits and we wait for the chicken, so you might need to do that again later. Alright, so now let's adjust the seasoning on this. Put in a bunch of pepper. Some salt, and I shouldn't need too much salt in this. One thing about gravy is you do want to make sure it's pretty well salted, because you just can't add enough on top to make up for unseasoned gravy. Alright, the potatoes are done. They've been done for a little while there. So all we have to do is drain these. Just a little bit of water in there. I just, dump it. I don't even use the colander. Just dump it out in the sink. Mash them up. Alright. And I got a 1/4 cup of butter. We'll get that in there and start melting it. Mix it in. While it melts. Then I've got a 1/4 cup of sour cream. And a 1/4 cup of heavy cream. And I'm not going to use all of it this time. I saved the cream till last so I can just pour in as much as pour in some, mix it up and see how it is, see if it's creamy as I want, because if you dump in too much, you can't take it out, and if the potatoes are too thin. But I didn't need the rest of it, so season it up with pepper, lots of pepper, some salt. And again, you want to get these with enough salt. Okay, we'll just put the lid back on to keep it warm. Now it's time to check our chicken breasts. It's been 45 minutes. So they're pretty close. Yeah, that's good. That one's 155 is about right. 150 would be better, but I got a little farther than that. 155, 160, 170. They're different sizes, so it's hard to get them all the same. Okay. Steamed vegetables are about halfway through now, so I'm going to put the butter in. A couple tablespoons of butter. Then I'm going to sprinkle on a bunch of Mrs. Dash. I like these on vegetables. Alright, back in the microwave. Now we'll grab our chicken. Since these are so huge, I am going to cut them in half. We don't need each one, a pound chicken breast. Yeah, and you don't need to debone these, because you can just cut right through those ribs and stuff. There's a letter left. It's not too hard. So you got a nice crispy skin on there. Meat looks beautifully cooked. Just slightly pink. Alright, there we go. Beautiful. Nice and juicy even. Alright, veggies are done. Do the final step on those. All we gotta do is stir them up. Okay, so we got a little mini buffet of our baked chicken breast, our Sawmill Gravy, steamed vegetables, and our mashed potatoes. Lovely. Alright, here's my plate. All ready to eat. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and click that notification bell to be notified when new videos are posted.